Good morning, and welcome to Centers for Spiritual Living, Greater Baltimore's pre-service meditation. I am Eugene Holden, one of the practitioners of distinction here at Centers for Spiritual Living, Greater Baltimore, and it is my pleasure to facilitate this beautiful time. So, if you would take a nice deep breath. Now, if you would also just soften your gaze. And let's connect again with that breath. Take a nice deep breath through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. And we'll do that one more time. Inhale and exhale. And now, bringing your awareness to your breath. Make sure that you inhale fully. And then we exhale completely. Keeping the breath slow, soft, smooth, silent, and sacred. Just being aware of how the breath enters and exits the body temple. Also become aware of how naturally the body wants to relax on every exhale. So allow the body to do so. With each exhale, just let it all go. And we breathe. And as we connect with the breath, and as we stay aware of the body temple, we become aware of how the body temple relaxes from the top of the head all the way down the face and the neck and the shoulders and the arms, all the way down to the palms of the hands, the tips of the fingers. Everything is relaxed. Let it all go. There's nothing to hang on to right now. No tension, no stress, nothing. And as we continue to breathe comfortably but deeply and fully, we become aware of how the torso now relaxes from the shoulders all the way down to the hips, relaxing the back, relaxing the neck, relaxing the chest, relaxing the lower back, relaxing the abdomen, and we breathe. And now we become aware of how this relaxation flows through the hips, down through the thighs, the knees, the calf muscles, the shins, through the ankles, all the way down to the tips of the toes. And now feel and sense the soles of the feet relaxing. And we breathe. And now with our mind's eye, we deliberately scan the body temple just to become aware if there's any tension still trying to hang on anywhere in the body temple. And if so, we bring our awareness to that tension. We take a deep breath. And we just bring our awareness to where that tension used to be, and now we just let it go, breathing it away. And now, with the body fully relaxed, with the mind fully at peace, we allow the breath to guide us into the inner sanctum of the Most High, the throne room of the heart. This is the Holy of Holies. And actually, this is home. Home is where the heart is. Home is where we can be ourselves. This is where we find peace. This is where we find calm. This is where we come to gain knowledge, knowing that whatever it is we need to know is found in this inner space called home. In this space, there are no worries. In this space called home, all needs are met. In this space, we allow ourselves to become still. Letting go of any thoughts of the past, letting go of any thoughts of the future. Just bringing our awareness to this moment of now by focusing our awareness on the breath. The breath is a great reminder that there is only this moment, simply because we cannot take a breath for 2 minutes from now, nor can we take a breath for 3 minutes ago. We can only breathe in this moment. How good it is to be at home. In this space, we get to kick our shoes off and relax. We relax because we know that we are surrounded by an infinite something that protects us, that guides us, that provides for us everything that we need. How good it is to be home. And we breathe. In this space, we find our imagination, our intuition, our memories, and it is the gateway to our higher power. It is the door to our home. So have a seat, relax, make yourself at home in peace. Be still. Be still. There's no place like home. Home is where the heart is. There's no place like home. And we breathe. And in this quiet space, look around at this peaceful space, your home, this inner sanctum, and become aware of what's in your home. Are there thoughts of peace, creativity, thoughts of beauty? Or are there thoughts of complaining, ridicule, distrust? Look around in all the corners of your home. And if we find distrust or complaining or things like that, it is up to us to clean all of these out of our home. See, our home is to be pristine. Our home is where we come to be safe. And we carry our home with us all the time. It is the inner sanctum of our being. What is in your home? If there's anything in your home that is not in harmony with the rest of the furnishings, joy, peace, love, beauty, well, then you get to take those things out and do not allow them back in, for this is your home. Thoughts of resentment, they don't belong in your home. Judging anyone or anybody, including yourself, as less than does not belong in your home. You see, there is no place like home. And now we sink even deeper into our home, into this space where we feel, we sense, and we know that we are one with this place we call home, the throne room of the heart, the inner sanctum of the Most High. We are one with this. Mm-hmm. Feel the love surrounding you in your home. Feel the peace surrounding you in your home. Now, as we take a deep breath, we become aware of the environment around us, feeling the energy of the room, feeling our feet upon the floor, our seats upon the seats. And as we bring our awareness back, we know that we are still home. We are to always remember that home is where the heart is. And we take our heart with us everywhere we go. When you're ready, and only when you are ready, you may open your eyes. I am so grateful to have spent this time with you. And this concludes our pre-service meditation. And as we prepare for the service, maintain this sense of peace that we have been sitting with for the last few moments. It has been my honor. Peace and blessings.
to express. Your soul already knows. Your soul already knows. Connect to your soul's wisdom. Let go of the rest. Your soul already knows. Your soul already knows. Trust your beautiful soul. Let go. Let your life's light shine on. You are a blessing made for miracles. You are so dear. You are important and your soul is welcome here. Happiness and peace reside within your heart. Your soul already knows. Your soul already knows. You have the courage to take action, the clarity to start. Your soul already knows. Your soul already knows. Trust your beautiful soul. Let go. Let your life's light shine on. You are a blessing and made for miracles. You are so dear. You are important and your soul is welcome here. Trust your beautiful soul. Trust what you already know. Trust your beautiful soul. Today, trust your beautiful soul. Let go. Let your light shine your home. You are a blessing made for miracles. You are so dear. You are important and your soul is needed
All right. Take two. I got a lot of moving parts over here. Thank you, Faith. Whew. I need a moment. Hmm. Hmm. I need a moment. God morning. And welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Greater Baltimore's virtual service. I am Tracy Rhymes, your host. Whew. It is one of those moments. Okay. Our speaker is our dynamic spiritual director, who is always ready, Reverend Dr. Raymont Anderson. Our musician is Celia Farran, serving as today's practitioner of distinction, who led the pre-service meditation is Eugene D. Holden. Assisting with making this service open, inviting, and accessible to the deaf community are our sign language interpreters, Faith Moore and Sonya Chavis. On behalf of Reverend Dr. Ray, I thank you for your service. At CSLGB, every Sunday is an invite a friend or family member Sunday. Make sure you spread the love and invite someone to service. We would love to have them hang out with us. Eugene D. Holden is a licensed spiritual counselor and practitioner of distinction, studying New Thought and science of mind and spirit for over 30 years. Eugene served as department manager for CSL, an international nonprofit organization, for 10 years, running the World Ministry of Prayer. After 15 years, Eugene continues to be a well-loved contributor to the Science of Mind magazine, inspiring lives around the world. Eugene is an experienced process training facilitator who has led group sessions at Agape International Spiritual Center, Unity of Colorado, Centers for Spiritual Living, and various spiritual centers nationally and internationally, including Denver, Florida, California, Philadelphia, Oakland, Canada, Mexico, and Jamaica. Eugene currently runs a successful counseling and coaching practice both in person and online. Eugene also served for 2 years as a facilitator and trainer for CSL's Diversity and Inclusion Commission. Eugene allows vision to guide him. It is prayer that fuels him. He is deeply committed to his purpose and joyfully assisting others in remembering who and what they truly are, divine beings of light. Eugene believes that together we can reveal the kingdom of heaven right here on earth. What is heaven? Heaven is ever expanding good.
Thank you, Tracy. Let's take a nice deep breath together. And join me in this prayer. Let's pray together. Oh man, how grateful I am in this moment, for this moment. I am grateful for this breath. See, because I know that it is the breath that propels this word, and the word that I speak is God, the infinite intelligence that governs the universe through divine law and unconditional love. I recognize that this one power, this one presence, and this one life is expressing itself into and as everything that is seen and unseen, everything that is known and the yet to be known. It is all sourced by the one. That love intelligence that governs the universe is not only at the very center of all of life, having no circumference whatsoever. There isn't anything that exists outside of the presence of this one. And it is the nature of this one divine intelligence to permeate, to penetrate, and to fill the interspaces of the universe. In other words, there's no space where God is not. And so as I recognize and acknowledge the isness, the fullness, the allness of God as being everywhere present at all times, then I know that at all times, that which I call God is present right where I am. And as I know this to be the truth of my life, I know this to be the truth of each individualized expression of the one tuning in today. That right here, right now, God is, we are. Oh man, there is no place we can go where this infinite intelligence of spirit is. There's no place we can go where God is not, simply because all of us are created in that spiritual image, that likeness, and out of the spiritual nature of the divine itself, which means that all of us, each and every one of us, is fully imbued with the same creative intelligence and power that has created the heavens and the earth and everything in between. You see, this is who and what we truly are, divine beings of light. We are brilliant illuminations of pure spirit. And so it is in my awareness of our oneness in life, our oneness in spirit, our oneness in God, that I speak this word for today. For once again, we have come together by divine appointment for the soul's purpose of guiding and directing each of us to experience something deeper, experience something higher, to experience something great, grand, and glorious in, through, and as us. Yeah, I declare that this time together is magnificent. I am grateful for all who are playing a part in bringing the service to everybody around the world today. I am grateful for the interpreters. I am grateful for the beautiful hostess, Tracy Rhymes, who is always on her job. I am so very grateful for the clarity that Tracy brings and for the peace that is now surrounding her. And now I speak this word for our spiritual leader, our spiritual director, the Reverend Dr. Raymont Anderson, who continues to stand boldly and deeply in spirit, allowing himself to be used by that infinite intelligence. See, I know that the words that Dr. Ray speaks, they are not his words, but they are the words of the infinite intelligence within him, because Dr. Raymont knows that right where he is, home is. So knowing that this word is already complete, I just absolutely give thanks. I accept that this prayer is complete. I accept that this treatment is demonstrating even now, and I accept that this is answered prayer. And so I release this word now, taking my hands off of it, knowing that as I release this word into the awesome, dynamic, and potent activity of love and law, the law with unconditional love has no other choice but to lovingly return these words unto us, not void, not empty, but absolutely and completely fulfilled, pressed down, shaken together, and overflowingly fulfilled. And so fulfilled, we just simply allow it to be. And so it is. Amen. Ashe. Amen. Woohoo. Yeah.
Honoring the world's religions. The Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Baltimore's community, honors the diversity of all religions as represented by this ceremony. Baha'i is the path of unity and peace. Buddhism is the path of compassion and cessation of suffering. Christianity is the path of love and forgiveness. Confucianism is the path of deliberate tradition. Hinduism is the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. Islam is the path of submission to the will of God. Judaism is the path of living by sacred law. Indigenous spirituality is the path of honoring the earth and all life. Shintoism is the path of ritual, veneration of kami, and honoring nature. Taoism is the path of ultimate reality through balance. Unitarian Universalist is the path of social justice and sacred activism. Science of mind and spirit is the path of awakening one's spiritual magnificence in accord with love and law. The heart. The heart represents our love for and unity with all life.
On November 20th, the annual CSLGB membership meeting will be held following a brief community fellowship on Zoom. This is a great opportunity for voting members of the community to vote on proposed changes such as the 2023 budget, bylaws, amendments, and more, in order to grow and thrive as a community. For additional information, contact Board of Trustees President Dana Cole or Vice President Robin Farran. Study, learn, and grow with Science of Mind and Spirit and Thursday night study groups. Visit cslgreaterbaltimore.org to learn how to participate, enroll in the discovery class, and know what Reverend Dr. Ray is teaching in the larger CSL community and beyond. For a full list of news and events and ways you can volunteer to serve, go to our website, cslgreaterbaltimore.com/events. Due to popular demand, Reverend Ray will continue to offer the daily text and voicemail. Contact him directly for details on how to contribute financially to its continuation. Okay. It is with great sadness that I inform our community that as of December 31st, excuse me, Reverend Ray will no longer be the senior minister of the Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Baltimore. Here at CSLGB, we live as answered prayer because prayer works. You better believe it. We as a community continue to treat and move our feet, knowing the truth for everyone around the planet. Prayer requests can be sent at any time via email to info@cslgreaterbaltimore.org. Celia Farran travels the globe with her inspirational music, comedy, and sound healing. She has opened for notable authors Neil Donald Walsh, Mariam Williamson, Dr. Masuru Emoto, Donna Eden, and Swami Biyanananda. Marian Williamson, author of A Return to Love, says, Celia's music calls women to their glory and men to their hearts. Ricky Byers says Celia Farran owns the stage. To learn more about Celia, visit her website, celiaonline.com.
Living so deep within. Inhale, peace be in your mind, peace be in your heart, peace be in your soul. Here now, peace be in your mind, peace be in your heart, peace be in your soul. Peace be in your mind, peace be in your heart, peace be in your soul. Peace be in your mind, peace be in your heart, peace be in your soul. Peace be in your mind, peace be in your heart, peace be in your soul. Peace be in your mind, peace be in your heart, peace be in your soul. Peace be in your soul. Peace be in your mind. Peace be in your heart. Peace be in your soul. Peace be in your mind.
All right. Thank you, Celia. Okay. Now, Eugene returns to lead us in a spiritual practice.
Good morning once again. So here's the thing about spiritual practice. The operative word here is practice, right? So it's an active. It's something that is active. It's a practice that we put in place. And so today's theme is there's no place like home. So this morning's practice, I want to start it off by quoting from one of the books of the New Testament, John 14, verses 1 through 3. And I'm only going to do the first sentence on that, and then we'll go from there. And it says that Yeshua, Jesus the Christ, purported to have said, "In my Father's house there are many mansions." And we'll stop there. In my Father's house there are many mansions. Now, metaphysically speaking, house refers to your consciousness, right? Your awareness. Your awareness of your higher self, your consciousness. So in your consciousness, there are many thoughts that you can put in there. There are many thoughts that flow through there. So the practice is to be aware of the thoughts that are coming through your consciousness, your conscious awareness, the thoughts, the mansions that are flowing through your house. It's an interesting way how that's written. In the house, there are many mansions. So we typically think of a mansion as a huge house, right? Something that is huge. So if that's the case, then in our consciousness, which is unlimited, we have the ability to create what it is that we want to experience with the many mansions, our unlimited field of thinking. We have the capacity to create whatever it is that we want to experience, as long as we not only think about it and keep it on the forefront of our minds, which is a daily practice. If I want to experience something, I want to keep that on my mind all the time, but it goes beyond that. Just thinking about it is not going to make it so, not all the time, not even most of the time. We must then get into action to bring that experience about. But it starts with, in my consciousness, I have an unlimited way of thinking, an unlimited sources to bring about the experience that I want to have. So the spiritual practice today, in there's no place like home. Another way I'm going to invite us to look at that is there's no place like your mind. Think about that. There's no place like your mind. And we must remember that everything comes from the invisible mind of the infinite. Everything that you personally have ever experienced, most everything has come from your mind. The work that you do, the accomplishments that you've had, the creation that you have experienced, all come from the consciousness, comes from your home. So when we talk about there's no place like home, we want to make sure that our home, our house, our consciousness is clean and clear of all the dust bunnies, those thoughts of fear, those thoughts of doubt, those thoughts of worry, those dust bunnies, the thoughts of I'm not enough. Right? Now, here's the thing about the dust bunnies. They are not always present. They are not always right where you can see them. Dust bunnies tend to hide. So we have to go and kind of sweep into the corners of our consciousness to get those dust bunnies, those thoughts of not enoughness, those thoughts of lack and limitation. And we need to go into the corners of our mind to sweep those out so that our home, our house, our consciousness is clear. So that when we come from that house, that consciousness, we are coming from a place of clarity. We are coming from a place of power. We are coming from a place of knowing that there is an infinite intelligence within us that supports us in everything that we do. There's no place like home. In your house, there are many mansions. In your consciousness, there are many ways for you to create. Thoughts create. Choose the good ones. Peace and blessings in practice.
Thank you, Eugene. All right. And practice. Reverend Dr. Raymont Anderson is an ordained Centers for Spiritual Living minister, serving the Center for Spiritual Living Greater Baltimore Community as our spiritual director. As a lifelong learner with a passion for self-development, personal transformation, transmutation, and transfiguration, he has frequently been referred to as a Renaissance man and visionary New Thought leader who makes complex metaphysical concepts readily understandable and applicable. His mission is to live, move, and be an active member of society who serves to educate, elucidate, and emancipate people and communities to awaken and empower themselves. ACTIVE is an acronym that stands for authentic, compassionate, transparent, inspired, vibrant, empowered. And he continues to live his bliss as a teacher, minister, author, workshop and seminar facilitator, visual artist, ASL interpreter, and ASL performing artist, mentor, father, grandfather, and more. I give you Reverend Dr. Ray.
And namaste and greetings, everybody. Good morning. So, as you've already heard, if you've been here, you know that today's theme, there's no place like home. Now, if you've been here, like I said, then you heard several of the references that Eugene has made referencing home. Home is where your heart is. In my home, in my kingdom, in my mansion, like there are many thoughts that can be held. There are many thoughts that I can choose. So this idea of home, before we go on to this specific discussion today, referencing the hero's journey, I want us to pause and think about the number of words we use that include home in it. Right? So pause for a second, because if we're talking about home is where the heart is, and we're talking about home as a reference to your consciousness, then think about the number of words we use that bring that energy into it. For example, someone who is a homebody, someone who does not send their children to public school, but they homeschool. When someone references their homeboy or homegirl, their homie. In baseball, you hit a home run. For many colleges, there is the homecoming. Another word for funeral, homegoing. The team that you root for is your home team. In North America, we reference this idea of homely, meaning someone unattractive, but the same word in the British vernacular means a place that is cozy and comfortable, which in the North American vernacular, we say homey. Same word as the friend, right? Homie, H-O-M-I-E. Homey, H-O-M-E-Y. And homework. And think about, because those are just a few of them. How many opportunities do we have to bring the energy of heart and consciousness and practice into not but all of our practices, all of the times when we use these words, being mindful that the energy of heart and consciousness are present as well. Just saying. So today we are talking about this idea of the hero's journey. And George Moore says, a person travels the world over in search of what they need, and they return home to find it. So we search and we search and we search, much like Dorothy, and we search only to realize that that which we are searching for, we already have. There's nowhere that we can go to find more God, to find more love, more truth. It all exists right where we are. Are we willing to do the practice to recognize that? which is precisely what the monomyth, the idea of the hero's journey, is reminding us of. So this graphic is a fun little graphic that reminds us that there is the call to adventure, the call that urges us to move, to seek, to practice, to develop something other than I'm not really satisfied with where I am, and that's just something I feel incomplete. And so the hero's journey calls us into a new way of being, a new way of practicing, a new way of showing up. Now, you may think that the hero's journey is for select folks. You know, it's for the Luke Skywalkers. It's for the Bruce Waynes of the world, the Diana Princes of the world. Every single one is on the hero's journey. Question is, where are we? Because some of us will go so far and then we will stop for a variety of reasons. But we stop and we don't practice. Or rather, we do practice. We just don't practice that which is going to move us in that evolutionary spiral upwards. We practice the art of staying still. I am practicing the art of stuckness, the art of stagnation, rather than the art of move and flow. We're always practicing something. So as we discuss this, prayerfully that will become clearer, because Joseph Campbell says, we must be willing to let go of the life that we planned so as to have the life that is waiting for us. Now, we're going to talk more about this idea of planning momentarily, but are we willing to surrender, to let go of, to release our attachment to the plan in order to have the moreness that exists? See, we can become so stuck with what happiness means, A, B, C. And we become so rigid in that A, B, C that we can't receive D, E, F, G, H, I, etc. There's a whole plethora of, in my Father's kingdom, there are many mansions. But if I have mansion is one building of one particular size, and that's it. Prosperity is one thing, and that's it. Joy is one thing, and that's it. Then I'm limiting of all the other possible ways that this can come to me. Are we willing to relinquish the stuck, attached idea of, in order to step into a deeper practice, into a deeper flow of what it means to receive all that is available? So when we think of this idea of planning, oftentimes we get so bogged down with, I have to have a plan. And we force our children to learn, you have to have a plan. Once you get out of high school, what's your plan? What are you going to do? What are you going to be? You got to go to college. Then once you're done with college, what are you going to do? What are you going to be? And then 60 years later, what are you going to do? What are you going to be when you retire? We're in many ways, the culture that we exist in right now is planning for our own funeral. We are planning the end. We haven't even fully lived yet, but we're already planning. I'm 5 years old. Why are you asking me what what my plan is when I graduate high school? I can't even spell high school yet. I just want to go play in the mud right now. That's my plan today. Like, my plan is to, when I feel like I got to go to the bathroom, make it to the bathroom. Because, the last 3 times during nap time, I didn't make it. So make it to the bathroom, and I'm going to play in the mud when we're done with this, whatever we're doing today. That's my plan. But you trying to get me to, I'm supposed to be married and kids and a house and a dog and a white picket fence. I'm 5 years old. How much money? Retirement, 501(c)(3) What? We get so obsessed over the idea of the plan. We become so focused, which limits us. When we have the opportunity to pause and ask ourselves, so if I'm going to make a plan, what is the purpose of the plan? So that I can what? And the moment we really have an answer, then we're able to really determine, is that what I want to align myself with? Is that moving me further along the evolutionary process of the hero's journey? Is that keeping me in a consciousness of home? Or am I a stranger in a strange land? We get to choose. We don't have to, just because someone else tells us this is what according to them, what we are supposed to do, college, what we are supposed to do, degree, what we are supposed to do, paycheck, what we are supposed to do, retirement, gold watch, all of that stuff. It's what they say. And I understand that. But what do you say? What is your plan? And what is the reason for your plan? Eric Butterworth says, before you formulate a desire in mind, it is God in you desiring. Now, before we go any further, before you desire, before there's that, you formulate in my mind, I want to go to Disney. Before that desire even formulates in my mind, understand that that desire is actually the universe. It is actually God desiring to experience, as me, God desiring to experience. And it's not just God in us, it's God as us, right? So we understand that God isn't in, God is literally showing up as the incarnation of us. Before you have an urge, there is a moving of spirit in you and as you that is prompting you, guiding you, leading you, breathing you in that direction. And this is why we understand we are never alone. Never. For the entirety of the universe is desiring. The entirety of the universe is urging as us. Do we understand that? Do we surrender? Do we practice that? Do we practice making sure that when a desire shows up, when an urging shows up, for our greatest yet to be, our greatest and greater good, that we are practicing what we are called to practice in order to experience this? Because otherwise, they're just nice words. And we have great value in the spiritual practice of reflection, because we can always pause and reflect on past. How did we get where we are right now? What were the steps that led up to? What were the choices and decisions that led up to getting us right where we are now? Because as we do that, then it's easier to understand, well, if that's how I got here, then how do I get where I next want to go? How do I get to that next desired space of consciousness and experience, that next urging to experience greater joy and laughter and life and love? How do I do that? There's a quote by Japanese poet Basho that says, I do not seek to follow in the footsteps of the men of old. I seek the things they sought. See, we don't have to follow in the footsteps of our parents or grandparents. We don't have to follow in the footsteps of our spiritual leaders and gurus and monks and priests. We don't have to follow in the footsteps of the mystics. We can seek. We can live in the same consciousness. There is only one consciousness. There is only one mind, and that mind is God. And that mind is powerful and creative and wise and loving. And that mind is your mind right now. What does the spiritual art of, the spiritual practice of reflection show you that is yours to do, to embody, to embrace, to envelop more of that awareness? In the Holmes Reader on Practical Wisdom, it says, nothing can be nearer to you than that which is the very essence of your being. Your outward search culminates in the greatest of all possible discoveries, finding God at the center, finding God as the center of your own being. Finding God, recognizing God, realizing that God is the very essence of everything that you are. You are it, individualized, expressing itself. So no matter what it is you are searching for, looking for love in all the wrong places, knocking on doors that, hello, I'm wondering, is myself here? I'm looking for me. Oh, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all else will be added. Temet noske, know thyself. We believe that heaven is a state of consciousness that we experience to the degree that we become conscious of it. Interesting. Am I practicing? Am I stepping into deeper, stronger, more effective ways of living this truth? Because reflecting on my life, when done effectively, can give me insights that benefit me in the present and in how I move forward. Not trying to relive nostalgia. You know, remember when the 1970s, oh, those, I wish we could get the 1970s bell bottoms and platform shoes. Like we should get those. That's when life was good. Is that's what you're saying? What about now? What about how do we make life good now, rather than being attached to a romanticized idea? See, the art of the practice of reflecting detaches us from this one aspect of, so that we can use the energy to propel us higher and further, deeper into what it means to practice the presence, to practice principle. Because as Eugene said in a workshop that I attended several years ago, the higher you want to go, the deeper your foundation and your practice must be. Look at any skyscrapers. The higher it is, trust and believe that what's underground is deep and vast and powerfully grounded in the earth itself. Because if it weren't, the slightest wind would timber any of those skyscrapers. The higher, the deeper. Reflecting gives us the opportunity to recognize and identify some of those practices. So pause and breathe for a second, because this here aspect of the hero's journey is one of the reasons why we stay stuck. Pain pushes until the vision pulls. And what we tend to do is pain pushes, oh, back up. Pain pushes, I'm going to fall down. I ain't going to get back up, because the moment I get back up, it's going to push me again. Pain pushes, oh, well, if I move, it won't push me anymore. And so we settle for less. Now is the time to let the vision pull. Les Brown once said, and I'm paraphrasing, that if life is going to knock you down, then fall on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. Raise your eyes to the hills from whence your help comes. Vision. What is the vision for your life? When you practice visioning, do you do it for your own life? Or is it something you just do when your community comes together to vision? Do you practice it for you, for your family, for your relationships? Allow the vision to pull you into greater ways of showing up. Because all of these things that pain shows up in a lot of ways, And it's easy to let them dominate and oppress and hinder. But when we have a practice and the pain shows up, we have a way of moving through the pain, whatever the pain may be. Grief. There are tools to navigate it, to move through it. The grief is still there, but there's a path through it. Anger, there's a path through it. Resentment, there's a path through it till you get to that place where I'm healed. And healed doesn't mean that whatever that is completely gone. It may not be. Granted, it may be, but it may still be there. But the thing is, it has no effect on me. In the same way that Glenda said to the wicked witch, be gone. You have no power here. The witch was still present. She was still there though, right? Because if she wasn't, why would Glenda speak to her? She was still there until such time as she recognized what Glenda said. And she was like, time for me to go. And she vanished. But she was still there for a moment. Do we speak truth to the pain, speaking truth to power? Because if we don't, then the pain hurt people until they are healed, and then healed people heal people. If we continue to allow the pain, the trauma, to control us, then we show up as the hurt and the wounded. I want you to pause, breathe. Now, does everyone who is hurt become, quote unquote, the villain in their own lives? Clearly not. But many of us do. We become our own worst enemies. As the Pogo cartoon that I've quoted many times once said, I have seen the enemy and it is us. We become our own villains in our own stories because we haven't resolved the hurt and the pain. We refuse to address it and practice. And so when things show up, they hold us prisoner. When things show up, they hold us captive. When the grief and the pain and the sadness become unbearable, and the fear and the anger and the resentment become unbearable, we drown beneath it all. And herein lies the great thing about this practice, is because no matter what it is, there is a way of practicing to move through all of this. And as we do it, we give other people permission to do the same in their lives. As I heal my own grief and sadness and anger and all of the things, then my presence becomes a healing presence for others. But I have to practice it. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, as my sufferings mounted, I soon realized that there were two ways in which I could respond to my situation. Either to react with bitterness or seek to transform the suffering into a creative force. I decided to follow the latter course. I decided to turn the bitterness, turn the venom into anti-venom, turn the pain into, rather than just sit in it, rather than stay stuck. Because as we look at doesn't matter who they are, any of these so-called heroes in the mythologies of the planet, all of the heroes also experienced some form of trauma and pain as well. They transformed it. So they felt whatever that was, betrayal, whatever that was, anger, whatever that was, and they transmuted it and transformed it. They practiced the presence. They practiced principle in their own ways. They practiced. And as a result of the practice, their lives were transformed, and the lives of others were transformed as a result. Are we, like them, willing to practice? Because you are the hero of your own story. You are the hero of your own story. What does that mean to you? What does that look like as you plot your course through the hero's journey? What does it mean for you to move through the practice of, to move through the adventure of? So if I were to ask you, pause and actually look at each of the steps, all 12 of them, all 12 of the phases, and what do they indicate to you? What do they invite you to practice on a daily basis? What is your call to adventure? What has it been? What is it now? Refusing the call. When have I ever? Am I doing it now? All of these are invitations to a deeper way of showing up, a deeper way of living our lives. As Thoreau says, go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Do you know what your dreams are? Live the life you have imagined, to which we add that you have imagined that is life affirming, because many of us have imagined. We've imagined the misery. We talk about the misery. We commiserate with others. This is an invitation to live the life that spirit imagines, that life that is life affirming and loving and nurturing. Live that life. As you simplify your life, letting go of all of the stuff that's not necessary, the laws of the universe will be simpler. Breathe. So you are the hero of your own adventure. You are the hero of your own life. What does that look like for you? What does that mean? Because it does not matter how your story began. It doesn't matter how your story is currently unfolding. Those are far less important. What is more important is, how do you choose to respond now? And how do you choose for it to unfold from this point forward? That is far more important. Because as we see in the mythology of the story of this character, who recently in the cinema, the story of Black Adam, Dr. Fate tells him, you believe you are not worthy, but fate, spirit, source, does not make mistakes. You have two paths. You have two choices. You can either be the destroyer of this world, or you can be its savior. You can be the destroyer of your life, or you can recognize that you can save yourself. The moment I allow anger to overwhelm me, I am destroying. But the moment I allow myself to feel the anger, be present to the anger, practice what I need to practice and move through the anger, then I recognize that I am the savior of my own life. I have transmuted it and surrendered it at the appropriate, more effective time. Each of us has two paths. Continue to go the way of the collective consciousness, the way of greed and anger, othering and hate, the way of the Sith Lord, Darth Vader, the Emperor, or the way of the Jedi, or the way of the Justice League, or whomever. Like, it doesn't matter who the hero, Gandalf. Like, I don't care who the quote unquote archetype is. The idea is, am I choosing that or that? Status quo or that which has not yet been, so that it may be? To speak a word about a thing, to create it, though it never has been before, to speak about it as though it exists now, and in that making it so. Marianne Williamson says, each of us has a unique part to play in the healing of the world. You have a unique part to play. There is no playing small when you understand that you have a part to play in the healing of the world. But you cannot heal the world if you are unwilling to heal your own life, your own relationships. If you are unwilling to practice two paths, and if I am not healing the world, two paths. If I am not practicing health and wellness and unity, two paths. If I'm not practicing this, and I am always practicing something. So you might think you're practicing apathy. You might think that in the art of abstaining from voting, you may think that by remaining silent, as Bishop Desmond Tutu said, if you have chosen to remain silent when you witness, I believe it was Desmond Tutu, if you have witnessed or you are witnessing my abuse and you choose silence, then you have sided with the oppressor. Your silence is complicity. Two paths. Either I'm healing or I'm hurting. This week's practice, should you choose to engage. Number one, sit with a trusted friend and actually chart through the hero's journey. How has it played out in your life? Share with one another. Discuss each individual step. What have been the challenges? What have been the opportunities? What have been the revelations, the lessons, etc.? Joseph Campbell said, "The cave that you fear to enter holds the treasure that you seek." What is the cave that you fear? What is the treasure that you seek? And what are you doing? What are you practicing to face the fear and to enter the cave? And then lastly, have a conversation with two people about what you can do to intentionally move along in your journey. Do you need support and encouragement to get you started? Would you benefit from having a mentor or a coach, having a regular practitioner work with you, or becoming that for someone else? What would help you in intentionally moving along, consciously moving along in a dedicated, convicted, consistent manner? Breathe. This week's declaration, I will say it first, and if you feel in alignment with me, then say it on our second go round. I am the hero of my journey, and it is magnificent. Together. I am the hero of my journey, and it is magnificent. Breathe. Breathe as we avail our hearts, our minds, our prayers for this amazing and powerful woman, knowing that electricity and safety and all of that stuff is right here and right now where she is. That she is good because the universe is good. That there is everything that she needs is being provided by this infinite and opulent universe as we avail ourselves to her gift. Namaste, blessings, and thank you, Celia.
Come on home to your heart. Come on home to your heart, your beautiful heart. Come on home to your 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 heart, your beautiful heart. Come on home to your heart. Come on home to your heart. You are love. To your heart. You are love. To your heart. Come on, you are love. Come on, you are love. To your heart. You are love. Come on, to your heart. Come on, to your heart. Come on, you are love. You are love. You are so love. You are love. You are love. You are love. Come on home to your heart. 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 Come on home, darling. You are so loved. Come on home to your heart. Beautiful heart. Come on home to your heart. Oh, honey, you are so loved, darling. You are so loved. Come on home to your heart. Come on home to your heart. Love yourself, that's where it all begins, right? Loving yourself, come on home to your heart. Beautiful heart, come on home to your heart. 'Cause you are loved, you are so loved, darling. You are so loved. Come on home to your heart, your beautiful heart. Come on home to your heart. And do it now. Love yourself right now. Yeah, do it now. Love yourself right now. 'Cause you are worthy and you are deserving of your beautiful self. And see, come on home to your heart. Come on home to your heart. Come on home to your heart, your beautiful heart. Come on home to your heart. Love yourself. You are loved. You are so loved. Yes, you are so loved. Come on home to your heart, your beautiful heart. Come on home to your heart. Love yourself, that's where it all begins. Loving yourself, come on home to your heart, your beautiful heart. Come on home to your heart, your beautiful heart. Love yourself, that's where it all begins. Loving yourself, come on home to your heart, your beautiful heart. Come on home to your heart. Your heart. Come on, you are loved, you are so loved, yeah, you are so loved. Come on home to your heart, your beautiful heart. Come on home to your heart, Come on home to your beautiful home, to your heart. Come on home to your heart, your beautiful heart. Come on home to your 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 heart, your beautiful heart. Come on home to your heart.
Come home to your heart. Come home to that awareness, that consciousness, that space that says, I am that. I am. And I know that I am the infinite. And it is me. Because it's all there is. Come home to that awareness. Thank you, Celia. So, this time of service, we recognize the infinite art of, the infinite practice of giving, where you are spiritually fed, and giving to your beloved spiritual community, recognizing that it is also a business. So, in order to help pay the mortgage and electric bills, etc., this practice supports both aspects of what it means to be in community. The practitioners of distinction, on top of their regular monthly tithes, have pledged $50,000. And as of the 12th of October, that number is 20,310. The community's matching pledge, also on top of their regular monthly tithes, also as of the 12th of October, have donated 5,375. If you are new to this community, you may be wondering, how do I give? You have 4 possible ways: the postal mail service, the text to give service, Givelify, and PayPal. If you ever have questions about any aspect of this, you can always visit the website, or you can reach out to the treasurer of CSL Greater Baltimore, the magnificent Sue Monahan, and she will be more than willing to assist you in this practice. Here at CSL Greater Baltimore, this declaration of financial wealth and abundance is also what serves as a declaration of physical health, wealth, abundance, and prosperity, intellectual health, wealth, abundance, love and relationships. It's all of it, right? So when we are declaring this, because we understand that God is everything, God is all there is. It's all there is. So clearly, if I am declaring financial wealth, then I must also be declaring a wealth of health, a wealth of friendship, a wealth of wisdom, like clearly. So if this is in alignment with you, that we are declaring wealth, abundance, and prosperity in all of our life affirming ways of showing up, then let us say together, I joyfully, consciously, and gratefully participate in the law of circulation. I trust in the spiritual principle that says, as I sow into my beloved community, I demonstrate my awareness of standing not only in the flow, but as the flow itself. As I sow of myself, my time, my treasure, my talent, I demonstrate my support and engagement in my community's vision, mission, and purpose. I actively give as a demonstration of manifesting, of reaping the harvest of a world that works for all. Breathe. Thank you for choosing this community this morning when you had so many possibilities to choose from. You chose to be with us. And if you are watching this recording later, same thing. You had many other recordings you could have chose, but you also chose this. So thank you for your presence. Thank you for your consciousness. Thank you for your practice. You are an awesome being. You are an awesome incarnation of the One. You're awesome. No, yes, you are awesome. So go out in the world and be your awesome self, your audaciously awesome self. And speaking of someone who is audaciously awesome, did you know that after service, you can go to the Zoom room for our practitioner, our master practitioner of distinction, Eugene Holden, where he will pray with you, pray for you, pray about you, pray knowing the truth of your being. So that whatever it is that you would like prayer regarding, something to shift, to be better, something that is good, to be great, doesn't matter what it is, Eugene will be there to do exactly that, to anchor in the practice, to anchor in the presence, and to know the truth of your being. So go to Zoom, type the word prayer in the chat box so Tracy will know to put you in a breakout room with Eugene. And it's first come, first serve. So the sooner you get there and type the word in, boop, you're now serving number 7. Boop, now serving number 9. Boop, now praying with number 10, like whatever that is. So get in there, type the word prayer in the chat box, because we know prayer works. So we breathe, recognizing that this thing we call Sunday service, while it comes to an end, the manner in which we go out into the world being of service never ends. Even when this body is surrendered, because God is all there is and God is always acting upon itself, God is always acting in service to itself. See, simply the sun rising and allowing that light to nurture and nourish life and vegetation and animals, that's a form of service. The manner in which we exhale out and plants inhale that, and then they exhale out and we inhale, that is God being of service to itself, providing oxygen, providing carbon dioxide, providing H2O, providing light, providing darkness for there to be rest and recuperation. God is always acting upon itself. So even when this Sunday service goes and comes to an end, the manner in which we go out into the world continuing to be of service goes on forever. So let us choose to actively do so, to practice the presence, to practice love, to practice joy, laughter, to practice all that is life affirming on this thing we call our hero's journey. Always recognizing that home is right where we are, because God is right where we are. And the law says yes, it is so, and so it is. Namaste, blessings, everyone. Have an amazing remainder of your Sunday, and see you soon.